Hi guys, tuning in this evening to talk about our friend who's having a hard time doing what he's supposed to do, causing a disruption in the hallways and using inappropriate language, pretty much not doing what the adults are telling him to do. So that the fact that we know that he has an IEP and that he has had an FBA done, that kind of leads us to the next question. What do we do? Well, how do we get this child back on the right track, and what are our next steps? Unfortunately, there's not enough information for us to say every single time this happens, this is what we do. It's very individualized, hence individualized education plan, and it's very much based on that child and what is the function of that child's behavior. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but Decory Bauer stated that there are actually 5 outcomes of an FBA that we're looking at. Number 1, we're looking at identifying the undesirable behavior. So in this case, it would be his disrupting others by yelling, saying curse words, things like that. Also might be defiance. So we're looking at those behaviors as being the problem behaviors. The second thing we're going to look at is the antecedent. So what causes those behaviors? Is it every time he gets fussed at, he ends up running out in the hallway and causing a disruption? Or is it every time he gets to handed out math problems to do, he runs out? So we're looking for what is initiating that behavior. The next thing we're looking at is the function. So what is he getting out of it? Every behavior that we do is because we're getting something from it. So is he getting attention from his peers? Is he getting avoiding doing those math problems? What is it that he's getting from the behavior would be its function. The consequence, what are we doing as a result? Sometimes even unintended consequences. We're giving him attention unintentionally, and we're reinforcing that behavior. And then what are the replacement behaviors? So since that FBA has been done, we would assume that all of those things have been identified. So based on the outcome of that FBA, let's just say the child's behavior was attention seeking. At that point, the behavior intervention plan should have been implemented. And Gable explains a behavior intervention plan being really it works for everyone. Anybody can use a behavior intervention plan, but really noticing that some kids don't respond to those negative consequences. So behavior intervention plan being more of a preventative and proactive, and saying that, we need to understand why the behavior is happening, as well as replace it with some suitable behaviors. So let's say we've already identified that the child's behavior is, I forgot what I said, attention seeking, I think. At that point, during the behavior, we would try to give no attention to the child, as well as not allow him to get attention from his peers as much as possible. Of course, making sure everybody is safe and trying to limit the disruption from the other classrooms by doing things like closing the doors or, maybe even a little bit of a diversion or distraction for the student to try to reduce the impact on others. But meanwhile, we're not giving him attention, and we're trying to prevent his peers from giving him attention if we've identified that this behavior is attention seeking. The only time we will give him attention is once we have come out of this inappropriate behavior, and we can reinforce appropriate behaviors by giving attention. So the short answer to this really is it depends on that FBA and what that FBA told us to do. That's just one example. If the behavior was identified as being an attention-seeking behavior, there's avoidance. We would approach it maybe in a little bit different way if it was the function of the behavior was avoidance. So that is those are my thoughts on our friend disrupting the classrooms, and I look forward to hearing your comments.